So I'm joined now by Farida and Hamid. Well, welcome to both of you to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Farida, let me just start with you, if I may. What is your understanding of what the new Taliban ruling is in relation to female television presenters in Afghanistan?
Thank you so much. Last week, the Taliban announced a new decree and restriction on women, especially for the women who are appearing on the screens and they're presenting the news or other social programs. So my understanding from these decrees that the Taliban want to remove this step by step from public life, and they decided that women should be just sitting at home and they are not allowed to go out. This is my understanding, and this is a big concern that I have about this issuing of degrees that the Taliban just in 9 past months, they just putting on the women.
Hamid, you and other male presenters decided that you were going to protest on behalf of your female colleagues by also wearing masks on air. Tell me about that decision.
By the time when we received the decree, when we were ordered to, especially our female colleagues, to put mask on while on air, so we collectively decided to go for a strike and support our female colleagues at this very critical situation. And that the message that we want to come through with this move was to let the fact authorities that this is not the way that they want to impose Islam for us, or they want to define Islam. And at this very critical situation, women, especially our female colleague, did not feel alone, that no one is there behind to support them. Altogether, we decided, we went on air with mask up, and it has a very huge reactions, or on the social media as well. We were being supported by the civil community as well. We decided, we went on that, we supported them, and we will do that. We ended the protest though, but still we have the same stance on that. We still want to support our female colleagues at any time with any means that we can do it. That was a civil gesture because we knew there are so many different misinterpretation of hijab. That's why we opposed that. If it's something, we never opposed any decree by the Taliban. Why we opposed this is because there is no clear definition. They have to clear it. What is hijab? Hijab in Islam for us, we are also Muslims, we as well know what is hijab. For female colleagues, like hijab is to cover the whole body, the entire body, except like from forehead to chin. It's all fine. Their hands, it should be visible. It's not a big deal. Like putting mask or asking them to wear mask is something that they want to gradually remove women from the society, or they don't want them to give the rights that they have as human beings. And this is a small step being taken by the de facto authorities in order to facilitate for a bigger move. The bigger move, I mean, is that maybe in a very short span of time, they will be asked just to not appear on the screen anymore, or just they will be asked to sit inside homes, and you're not allowed to get out of your homes without any female muharram, as they already clearly stated that. So that's why we protested, and so we ended that. But still, we have the same. Our view hasn't been changed on the matter. As long as we do not satisfied with a clear interpretation of hijab, we will support this, and we will still remain on our stance very clearly.
Well, Hamid, I think it's very courageous of you men to be doing this in support of your female colleagues. Farida, let me ask you, it's also very courageous for both of you to be speaking out to the world's media in the way that you are right now. Are you not concerned or fearful of what the Taliban may do if you do interviews like this?
Yeah, I'm concerned. I said that before that the Taliban announced decrees about the hijab, they are get steps. Some announced other orders about women and especially girls. They closed the schools for the girls. They just remove all the organizations support the women, and now they announced that the women, while they are appearing on the screen, they should be covering their face. And in this order, they clearly state that the best hijab is burqa, that the woman should be wearing burqa. The things that is impossible while we are appearing on a screen, just we wearing a burqa, this is impossible. And we have a fear that when the Taliban just watching this interview, they will be take some actions like now, while our male colleagues wearing masks, they have some issues. Like in the social media, they posted that while male colleagues wearing masks, they should be wearing shawl or they should be wearing burqa as well, that they show their solidarity with their female colleagues. So we have a concern not just about our security job, like we will be lost our job. We have other security fears, and maybe they target us or maybe they target other family members. We are concerned about all these things.
Well, I think it's extremely courageous of you both to be doing this. And Farida, let me ask you, when I had the Taliban spokesman, Suhail Shaheen, on my program recently, he was adamant that women had nothing to be fearful about, that they would be supportive towards women, and that girls would be allowed back to school in high school. Are you seeing any evidence of any of this?
When the de facto authority of the Taliban, they spoke with some foreign international media or others, they say that we working on the policy that close or that open schools for the senior girls or the girls in all around the country, and they said we work on the policy that how the women can work on the governmental organizations and private organizations. They said that we work on the policy that how make the proper way that the women work out at home. They just said about the policy. But look, in the past 9 months, what the Taliban do for the women, they just gave orders, they just issue a decrees, and they put more restriction and limitation on the women. But in Afghanistan, maybe their families out of Afghanistan, they go to schools, they go to universities, and they just analyzing the situations, and they never come to Afghanistan. Like I never have seen Suhail Shaheen come to Afghanistan. They just, what is going on in Afghanistan? I showed that he never come to Afghanistan. Just they talk with international media from online, and they have other maybe something that they have some immunity and in the foreign countries, and they never come to Afghanistan. They just give how the situation are going on, and when they talk, they never talk about what is reality in Afghanistan. I'm in Afghanistan, I'm in Kabul, and around the world, the people now say watching us that we're covering our face. Just you ask Suhail Shaheen that you said that we will allow all girls that they should go into school. We work on a policy that the women should be work on the private and governmental organization. But why you put more restriction on the women? Like while they appearing on the screens, they should be covering on their face. And this 21st century, around the world, the country get promotions and development. But in Afghanistan, it's like a kind of joke that the women, while they're appearing on the screen, they should be covering their face. As a woman, when I analyze these situations, I think that the Taliban they're kidding with us. Like they show the world, they do that kind of extremism actions like they do in a remote area of Afghanistan. Now in Kabul, they do the same action with us, and they obligated us to wearing our face.
And Hamid, finally, and briefly, if you don't mind, what is your view of the decision by President Biden to withdraw all the American forces overnight, and indeed Britain and other forces withdrew as well? It was so sudden and seem to just surrender the country back to the Taliban. What is your view of that?
So they would have left even maybe that decision was taken by that government is something that they would not stay here forever in Afghanistan. They were supposed to leave someday, but left in a very chaotic situation that the world knows how the people were suffering. You know, they built 20 years, the government here with trillions of dollars spent, with thousands of lives lost here in Afghanistan, but they give and they give up in a very, very, very simple way. And they they handed over the government to the people that they were fighting over 20 years with them, and they considered them as a terrorist or whatever they called them. No one accepted that. No one expected something that will happen to the Afghans. Anyway, they came right now, the Taliban or the de facto authorities in the country. Now they should take some better steps, not limiting the women's issue only. We have humanitarian crisis here. We are facing economic situation here in the country. People are angry. People do not have food to eat. They just focus on the women issues. They're just trying to crack down the women from the society or whatever they want to do. They have to take some bigger steps. They have to make a better relationship with the international community. They should take a better steps in order to have a good relationship with the outside world, in order to recognize their government. If they keep doing this thing, I'm sure that no one or no country in the world will recognize them, and we people will suffer the way we're suffering, the people are suffering. Their government, anyway, they can survive, but they should think about the nation, that they are going through a very difficult situation at the moment. Women are not only the part of the society that they are focusing on. There are other issues, as I already mentioned that. So better, they should do something for this country now. The authorities now, they have responsibility. Government coming to the power or ruling the people is not just something that they have to do. They have a bigger responsibility. They used to fight a government. They used to fight the international community with guns. Now they have to provide the facility for these people, the nation that suffered a lot when they were fighting, like the international community. We were the victims of war, and right now we are the victims of politics as well. We suffer a lot, and we have very small gains right now. We have to save them. People were thinking that the Taliban have changed. Even the international community thought that back in the mid-1990s when they were ruling us. So once they came here on the power, on the very first day, I remember it was 17th August, where their spokesperson very clearly said that the women will have their rights, the people will have their rights, they will make Afghanistan better, there will be future for the Afghans. But these things were all, I think they forgot what they have promised the people on the very first day. People were very eager that, okay, a new government came, the war ended, there's no killing, there's no bloodshed. But right now, nothing as such, no war, no bloodshed, but the people are hungry, the people are going through a very difficult situation. They should take care of such things. They should think that, okay, right now, 30 million, nearly 40 million people are living in this geography. So they need surveys. They need, even if they want to remove women from the public, it means that they want to eradicate the half of population of the country. The population where in the past 20 years helped the nation to progress. They contributed a lot, very actively in the society. How come you just, with a degree an issue, want to remove them from the society? They helped us a lot and led them. And everyone, like Farida herself sitting behind me, like by my side, she studied for more than 20 years. She suffered a lot. She wanted to have a future in the country. She wanted to work for the betterment or for the progress of this country, for the people of Afghanistan. If you want to sideline her, you're not just sidelining herself. It is just like you want to eradicate her hope, her future, whatever she has the plan for the Afghans, and what the achievements that he had in the last 20 years is just like removing her. So the same like her, we have like thousands of the people in this country where they suffered a lot, where they struggled a lot. It's not easy for them to be removed from the society or the way that they want to work. So Islam has given them the rights. We have to give them their rights. This is their basic need. Like right now, millions of girls are out of the schools. They're deprived. There's no any hope for them to return back. They were given promises that they will return back to the schools. They returned on the day, where they were promised, but they sent them back with like thousands of the people, millions of girls with the teary eyes, they went back to their homes with no hope for them. So this is not the way to govern. It's better to be very practical. It's better to think, like we have to adjust ourselves with the reality of today. And the reality is that this generation that is talking to you is totally different from the generation that they were rolling back in 1996 to 2000. So we are not ready to accept the things that contradict both the culture and our religion. And we'll stand, we will resist as long as we can do it. We know that there might be many threats, there might be many risks, but if we do not accept risks today, it means that we are going to surrender very easily, and we are going to give up very easily. It's something that we don't want to do. We have to make a change altogether. We do not want to oppose them with any form, with any means, but as long as the decrees, the announcement contradict Islam and culture, we will stand. We don't. I don't think that I'm scared of anything. Anything happens, it's okay. Let's happen. But let the other generation, which comes after us, at least live in peace, in prosperity, and dignity with what we are doing today. And that's what I hope. If they're watching the interview they're doing, they should consider that we are not the generation that they were ruling back in 1996. We're changed. We have a different mentality. We want to all together want to peace, or live in peace and coexistence and work for a better country. That's what we want from them, and that's what, let's contribute. Let's not oppose each other. This is the message that we have. By issuing ordering, you cannot constrain this limit. You will limit it maybe for a very short span of time. But in the long term, this is something that might be not good for their government. And if you want to govern, you're governing us, the people, the nation. If the nation is not happy from you, they do not want to coordinate with you, the behavior that you have, I'm not sure that any government can survive without their nation or without having a very close relationship. This is not what I mean. Is like let's support each other. Let's take a very close look at the reality of our today. Let the women get back to their jobs. So they have been wearing hijab the way they're asking them. People, we are Muslims from long back, and our female, our women have been wearing hijab, practicing Islam from the very long back. It's not like this is the first year, 1 year or 2 years that we are practicing Islam. It's not the way. It's just, like they're making pretexts in order to remove women. I hope they consider these things. Let the women get back to their life. Let them enjoy their freedom that God has given them, that Islam has given them. Let the girls come back to schools. Millions of girls are waiting just for a decree asking them to return to their school. There are millions of people. It's not only millions of people. There are millions of hopes, millions of lives, these are what we want from them, and I hope they consider we are supportive. We are from the same nation. We are the same people. If you don't join hands together, I don't think that we will survive or they will survive. And I hope they watch this and reconsider or revive their decisions or their decrees that they are ordering or they have been issuing. And since they took over, the international community knows, the world knows that they are just issuing decrees on women issues only. There are so many other subjects. Come on, let's work for those things as well. Let's get rid of the bigger problems that we have. Why women only? I don't know. No one is asking them why women only. I have watched your interview with Suhail Shaheen. She has 2 daughters. Both of them are going to school. Both of them attend school. They may have a better future maybe in the other countries. But people like Farida, who is sitting here, where she's, as I tell, like studied more than 20 years, she will just, end it up with having no future with nothing. But it's a double standard. They have to understand that we know that their children, offspring, are going to schools, attending universities, international kind of a thing. But we do not have this right to go to our school inside the country. This is what we don't expect them. We don't want at any cost. This generation will oppose it at any cost. Even if it costs our life, we will stand no matter what happens at the end.
Well, Hamid and Farida, thank you very much indeed for joining me. I admire your courage enormously as fellow journalists. I think it's disgraceful what is going on in your country. I think it's disgraceful the way we abandoned your country. I think it's horrendous the way that women are being treated. And as Hamid said, there are many other horrendous issues going on as well. But I admire both of you for what you've been doing. It takes a lot of guts to do this. And I wish you all the very best. So thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having us.